everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mila, you're at Alexandrian Archives, and today we have my June, July, and August reading wrap-up because I don't read enough books to have individual monthly wrap-ups. So I'm going to put the three in one video, and that'll give you content and make my life easier. So I have my notes in my notebook, so if I'm looking down, do ignore that. Let me just figure out how to best do this. Also, if I'm looking this way, it is because I'm mirroring the camera. Anyways, so yeah, let's get to it. So June, I read 2 books, which isn't a lot, but it's something. My highest reading month was May with 6 books. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, I'm getting back into it. Will I make my 100 book goal? I don't know, but we're getting there. Okay, we're at 24, so a quarter of the way through, almost. So the first book I read was, I think it was Atalanta, but we're going to talk about Emperor's Edge. So this is indie, like Amazon self-published or whatnot, and I got this recommendation from Elliot, from her channel Elliot Brooks, and I do have an individual book review for it, so please check that out. This is the start of a 9-book series, and this follows our main character who's basically accused of like wanting to kill the prince and stuff, and so she has to run, and there's like, you know, a warrant on her head, and then she assembles this group of ragtags to basically, you know, defeat the person that was actually poisoning the king. And yeah, that's all I really want to say about it. I thought this was a really fun first book. The pacing is great. It has a wonderful cast of characters. If you like Six of Crows and that sort of found family heist vibe, you definitely enjoy this. It really starts off running, not with a chapter about like a guy named Juiced who has a problem with his mustache and the moon or something like that. It's been a while. And I am excited to continue the series. It's a 9-book series, so it's finished and it's 9 books, and I'm excited. The next one I read was Atalanta by Jennifer Saint, and I am so fickle when it comes to like Greek mythology retellings, but I really enjoyed this. Hold on, let me just check. Okay. I really enjoyed this, despite my initial awareness of like Greek mythology retellings in general, and Atalanta is like my favorite Greek hero because she's the only like female hero that we have who's a badass, you know, doesn't let patriarchy stop her from doing what she wants to do. I'm not sure if I'll read other Saint books, but this is definitely one I enjoyed out of all the Greek mythology retelling books I've read, and I read quite a bit. The next one I read was Fellowship of the Ring. I have 3 things on my notes. Phenomenal. Slow at the beginning, but not as awfully slow as people say it is, and I think I think I talk about this in my Lord of the Rings review, which I will link down below. I'm so used to long books that it didn't really harp on me, the fact that it's so slow. I'm not used to things like really being described. However, the length of a book doesn't really bother me, and I think that it's a true classic. The next one I read was Two Towers. It is my favorite of the trilogy. The first chapter, I didn't know. See, the only thing, when I went into this, the only thing that I knew was from the book. So I sort of expected, was from the movies. So I sort of expected like the books to be similar to the movies because the movies are based off the books. So I didn't know how much they changed in the movies, right? Because I only really watched the movies until this year. So I thought that Boromir was going to die in the first book. He dies at the beginning of the second book. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I love the split. Like, basically in the second and third book, we have the portion with Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli and Merry and Pippin in one section, so in book 3, and then we have Frodo, Sam, and Gollum in book 4, so in this latter part. And I think that's what gets people, because they're expecting a movie like POV situation, right, where it switches. However, the movie changed it for more marketability, I guess, and because no one has the attention span to watch, just Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and the Hobbits versus Sam and Frodo. So I just like how they switched that. Again, I only had the movies as a reference, so I thought that the books would be like the movies because the movies are based off the books. So, like, I know that the books are not based on the movies, that's the other way around, but I just, that's how it went. The ends bit was my favorite, and I did not know that Shelob was going to be in book 2, although in hindsight I guessed, because on the illustrated editions, which I have a copy of the Two Towers of, it's like Sam with the light and the sword and Shelob behind him, so I guessed. And then I read Return of the King. Banger of an ending, full circle ending. I love Arwen, despite not having a lot of like page time on in the book. I like how she had more time in the movie. And I feel like the way that she appears in the book, it's so intentional. And I really appreciate that when there's a character that isn't on screen a lot, but it's when they are, it's very intentional, and what they say is very intentional. So yeah, and every scene with Eowyn and Faramir was so beautiful that, like, I wanted to cry. It was they're so cute. They're so cute. I'm just gonna have some coffee because I'm running out of breath. Nice. Okay. The next book I read was Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. The reason I started this was House of the Dragon edits, Game of Thrones edits, people arguing on my For You page about whether Jon or Dany is the prince that was promised. People complaining about brand chapters, and the fact that I have a gut feeling that we're gonna get something about Winter soon. Okay, we're gonna have some. Also, the fact that there's a huge new like cover change, so we're gonna get something. We're gonna get something. We're gonna get something. I'm just gonna lower this. There we go. So, what did I want to say? Banger of a beginning. I think it was a very interesting book. Iconic world building, obviously. Dragons. Who doesn't want to read about dragons? Iconic characters and lines from characters. And yeah, thank you to the various people that have listened to my rants about it and that have endured my sending TikTok edits of Daenerys Targaryen. Whoops. And then the next book I read was Sabriel, which is the first in a YA trilogy from the 90s. I do have I think by the time you see this, I will have the book review for it. I will link it if it is available. There's a talking cat named Mogget, who I love. Necromancers with a twist, and romance is like teeny tiny, like towards the end of the book, you know? Like, it's very teeny tiny. And if anything, I would recommend the audiobook because Tim Curry reads it and his Mogget voice is so funny. It's fantastic. His Mogget voice is great. The next book I read is Lyriel, which is the second book in the Old Kingdom trilogy. Sabriel was the first. Oh, this is by Garth Nix, by the way, but you'll see a cover somewhere. So this is my favorite of the trilogy. We have two main characters, Lyriel and Sameth, who is the son of Sabriel and a character from the first book, Touchstone. Twist is expected, however, how you get to it doesn't feel like overdone. Like, it's obvious that who like Lyriel is meant to be, but like the way that you get to it, the way that you discover it, and the way that the main character discover it is just so interesting and so well done. I don't know if that makes sense. The talking dog, who's also... Oh, there's a talking dog who's also hilarious, and she interacts with talking cat Mogget from book 1, and it's just hilarious. I love their antics. It's fantastic. And then the last book I read was Abhorsen, and this was a really fantastic ending to the trilogy. This is shorter than the other 2 books, and the ending gave me goosebumps, and I'm serious. Like, I literally felt chills because the ending was so full circle and it was so fantastic. I'm like, how did this man think this is like, it was so like, oh my god, the ending when you guys need to read this because I can't say anything, otherwise spoilers, but this was such a great ending. And yeah, well, this is a relatively short video, which is surprising because I thought I would ramble more. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all my socials, check out the videos down below. Let me know your thoughts, what you read, what you want to read for September. September book club is The Will of the Many by James Islington. And I will see you in the next one. Happy reading!